Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Yes Have Some Podcast. As stated at the top of the show, another year in the books. 2024 is here. I say this every year. I think this is going to be the biggest year in human history. But specifically for Yes Have Some Podcast and what we do here at YHS, we have an amazing year coming up. We've got Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. We've got Firehouse Fridays. But more than that, we have Jacob Walsh and Abigail Gardner joining us as always. Joining me, my co-hosts, my friends, my partners in crime, Jacob Walsh. Happy New Year. Welcome to the show. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm good. Lucky to be here. Well, I was going to ask how was everybody's Christmas and holiday? I feel like we haven't done an episode since before Christmas. Well,
Abigail,
my holiday season was really fun. Besides the 7 days that I was down with the flu, that actually happened over Christmas Day for me. So I was on the couch. I got to watch a lot of stuff. I watched Godfather on the first one and the second one. Started at the third one. And then we just did like a postponed Christmas gathering. Craig and I with our family, nephews, and gave some good gifts. Gave a Switch out. Gave Mario Kart.
Who was the winner?
Of
somebody
Christmas?
won a Switch.
Oh,
just the way you said, like we gave a Switch.
Oh, we gave it out. I know everything sounds like podcasting.
Gave out a Switch?
No, we gave a Switch to our nephew, who's like old enough to play with it now.
Now, what kind of Switch? Since he's a kid, did you just get him the regular generic, or you didn't go with like the fancier ones? Because
we went. There's 3 Switches. So there's the regular Switch, then there's the OLED, and then there's the one we got, which is just the handheld one. You can't connect it to the TV.
No case.
But
we did get Mario Kart, like I said.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, we did. Jacob, we were talking. Part of what we're doing tonight is talking about the most anticipated movies for the 3 of us for 2024, and I always do this thing every year where I'm like, I'm going to watch more movies, and then I don't. I just watch the same movies over and over, but I'm sticking to it. I want to watch more movies this year. Mm-hmm. I might get a Letterboxd account. I'm going to really do it up.
You should,
I think.
Yeah. I'm going to Letterboxd account.
I've thought about it. I think that might be a fun hobby.
It's fun to read. It's fun because you can review the movies on Letterboxd.
Right.
And a lot of people's reviews are very funny. Sometimes I'll get on there and I'll just read reviews. Mm-hmm. I don't usually leave reviews of my own. I just use the app to track how many movies I've watched throughout the year, and it will also tell you, you watched Leprechaun 4 6 times this year or whatever. Mm-hmm. So
that's awesome. Have you seen the thing Letterboxd does where they interview people on the red carpet and they ask them like
4 favorite movies?
Their 4 favorite movies.
Yeah.
And it's always like actors that And do you ever get the sense that they're not naming their actual 4 favorite movies and they're just naming the 4 most pretentious
That's exact, dude.
Yeah.
I've seen these. No, you're right, Abby. That's exactly what they do. Because they always are like, it's actors who sometimes it's not even like the actors that you would think are pretentious, but it's almost as if somebody told them like, your favorite movies have to be movies that literally no one's ever heard of. Like,
right.
Mm-hmm.
The most random French, like black and white movies from 1972 with one actor in it. And it's,
yeah. When obviously their favorite movie is Step Brothers.
Right. Exactly. Like it's always Dario Argento movies. It's always like Italian horror.
Hold on though.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a Dario Argento movie?
I'm just saying, I get it
because they're pretty good. They're pretty good, but yeah, I understand the point you're making.
Yeah, Craig, you said you're going to watch more movies this year.
Yeah, I'm starting with the full Dario Argento filmography. No, but I did respect like Jennifer Lawrence because she was straight up like Jurassic Park. Like she just named she named a real movie.
I had this conversation at work yesterday. There was somebody new and I was like, hey, so what's your favorite movies? Like you don't have to like list them all, but what are your favorite movies? And they said Back to the Future. And I was like, oh, we went on to have like a nice conversation. Mm-hmm. And I said Jurassic Park was one of my favorites. Like I was just going with my gut. I was like Ghostbusters, Jurassic Park, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
it just comes out naturally.
Like I said, real movies. Like I get it when you're asking, what's his name? The guy from the Lighthouse and Green Goblin.
Green Hornet.
That guy. That actor.
Dafoe?
Yeah, Willem
Dafoe. Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. He was making up movies when I watched it. These aren't real movies. But anyways, so listen, what we're saying is we're not pretentious. We like Groundhog Day. Okay. We know good film.
We said it.
It's in color, no black and white, no subtitles. Actually, let me take that back. We haven't talked about this. Abby and I finally saw Godzilla Minus One. Hey.
Oh, we haven't talked about that yet.
It's great. I know that's not
When did you see that?
Couple weeks ago.
Have we talked about this? Yeah, we did.
But not on the podcast. Not
okay.
On the podcast.
Yeah. It's great, right?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It feels like Titanic-esque. Like it's like a big
it felt important.
Yeah, exactly. Taking place in like the wartime. And all the flashbacks and the cinematography. It was just gorgeous. So I'm so self-aware right now because we just talked about how celebrities like bullshit on the red carpet. So
yeah, so you're trying not to sound
that's
like
why you can never call us celebrities.
Hey, Godzilla was big.
He was.
I liked watching him be big, and I like seeing him on the water.
Jacob, I wanted to ask you about this. Okay, I agree that Godzilla Minus One was really good.
Yeah,
I'm surprised how popular it got and how well liked it is. Like,
yeah, me too. Honestly, yeah, me too.
That feels like it. That feels like it wouldn't have happened 5 years ago, and it didn't happen. Like when Shin Godzilla came out, it was people liked it, but it wasn't like a pop culture. I feel like my parents might see Godzilla Minus One. Like it feels like it's entered into the.
Well, it's probably just partly due to just the where we are as far as like what movie theaters are doing and what movies are doing, and it's been kind of a small year for movies almost. So it's almost as if people that maybe would not have seen a Godzilla movie any other year are a little more open to just wanting to be at the movies. And then when those first reviews started hitting, I mean, people were like, hey, this movie got hyped, like so much hype that it was making me nervous. Cause usually it's not great when you hear hype like that. And, I mean, the movie got hyped. There's not a ton of other things playing at the theater at the same time. Nothing. I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I feel like
there's no major.
Didn't have a ton of like anything to fight
just
over
Wonka
space with. Yeah, but Wonka like just came out last week or 2 weeks ago, but yeah, I don't know. So it got caught up in kind of it's almost like it got caught up in the algorithm, basically.
Exactly. It's getting all the clicks, all the likes.
Yeah, it got all the clicks,
algorithm.
Yeah.
And it helps that the clips that are out there of Godzilla look really good. He's fully CGI, which he's only been a few times, but I read an interview with the director, and he is also the effects person on the movie. He's also doing the job of the effects coordinator or whatever, because that was what he mastered in before directing, and that's why Godzilla looks so good. The comparison they made is like when you watch movies like Civil War or any of the Marvel movies, when it gets to a point in Civil War where there's a big fight happening, a lot of times that's a whole different film crew, because then you got the stunt people, you have people who specifically film that kind of thing. There's a lot of the CGI happening. That's a different crew. So a lot of the times the director's like, all right, this is the part where they fight. Let's move on, and sometimes you can tell. You can be like, all right, this is a different movie.
Right. It's like a second unit crew that's specifically there for action sequences and things like that. Right.
But this movie wasn't like that. He overlooked everything, and
you can feel it. There's like an artistic touch to the action.
You could tell. And they also said, I saw somebody ask him about the budget, and they were comparing it to the Flash movie because Flash is so recent and there's been such a big, people have been talking about how bad The Flash looks, and it does. It looks like fucking shit, and it's like the most expensive movie. They spent so much money on The Flash, and it looks like dog shit. And they were like, "Hey, so we think it's really funny that your budget for Godzilla was $15 million, which is like, a third of Flash." And the director was like, "Hey, I wish the budget was $15 million.
Right.
It was much less than that, which is a small amount of money for a movie like that." And it looks
astounding
amazing.
for how great it looks.
Yeah,
it can be done, is what you're saying. Hey, Abby.
Yeah.
I just thought of something. I remember the reason I wanted to bring up the top 4 movie thing.
Yeah.
Because I texted this thing to Jacob last night.
Is it 4 now or is it 3?
Well, it's top 4. Well, no. I meant earlier.
You said it was 3.
No.
I have 5 just in case.
God damn it. You're all misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm talking about the letterbox thing where they ask people their top 4 favorite movies.
Right.
Oh, okay.
From earlier. I texted Jake this thing last night. You want to hear 2 of Jason Momoa's all-time favorite movies?
Not really, but if you're going to tell me, go ahead.
The Shining and There Will Be Blood. I was like, this
motherfucker is just...
Here's the thing. I guarantee you, I'll bet everything I have.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa has never seen There Will Be Blood.
He's copying somebody else's test. Like, there's no way that came out of his brain.
They're
the
like,
way he's seen them.
They're like, what's your favorite scene of There Will Be Blood? He's like, dude, the blood and like...
There's like...
Dude, the part...
All that blood.
The part where there's all the blood and the guitars.
Yeah.
I really like the guitar. I'm a guitar and a Harley guy. Bring all my Harleys with me.
There's no chance.
Hey, my favorite part. He's like, hold on. He's like, I like the part in There Will Be Blood where he's got like those. He makes those moccasins, and he just wears them, and they're like made of like dolphin skin, ethically sourced dolphin skin moccasins. I like that,
dude. I went off on a tangent on Jason Momoa yesterday.
You did?
Yeah, I was at work. I was like, he's wearing jeans. Wait, what?
You said that as if you went off on a tangent, like to his.
Yeah, face. He was there.
No. I found myself full of conviction talking about how much I hated Aquaman, and I still do. And I hate Jason Momoa because of one story about him, like from filming something, that he would borrow or steal people's books. He would,
He threw what's her name's book in the water.
Yeah, you have a lot of time.
It was
to
Amber
kill
Heard,
on set.
though.
Yeah, so what? Forget that. The fact that he would rip out portions of books.
Yeah,
it's just.
Hey, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that his other favorite movie is The Shining, because I wanted to mention over Christmas break. I do this every year, but I always try to watch Stanley Kubrick movies.
Right.
On or around Christmas. I just it happened by accident one year, and I was like, oh, Kubrick Christmas. That sounds good. Let me do this every year. So every year I try to watch 1 or 2 or 3 of his movies.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I watched Eyes Wide Shut, which I had not seen in a really long time, and I loved it. I was like, this movie is great.
Now, real quick, I don't want to give out your business, but you told me at one point around Christmas you forced your whole family to watch Muppet Christmas Carol at the same time.
Oh, I did. Yeah. We watched.
I think you should have done that with Eyes Wide Shut. The whole family around the TV.
Well, y'all wear your masks.
on Christmas Eve, my mom and her husband go off to like his family's house, so I'm just left there to do nothing for most of the night. So that's when I watched these films.
That's where you have your fun.
But I watched Eyes Wide Shut, and then I immediately followed it up with The Shining, which those 2 movies have so much more in common than I ever really like. They are. I know it's the same director, but they feel like they were shot back to back. You know, they look the same. They are shot the same. They both have kind of some of the same weird like themes going on.
Yeah,
but I'm watching
the madness.
Yeah, but I'm watching The Shining. And I mean, how many times have you seen The Shining? Like
100.
A lot. Yeah.
So many more.
So many.
I watch that movie at least once or twice a year. I've seen it so many times, but when I'm watching it, I'm just as enthralled with it as I ever was. It's like that movie is so well made and is so well acted that it, like, from the beginning, grabs you and just makes you. I couldn't even like be on my phone. You know what I mean? It's like when you're watching movies that you've seen a bunch of times, you're usually like kind of doing something else.
Right.
And I was like, no, I want to see what happens. You know, it's like that fucking movie is
There's a couple. There's only I think there's only
stops me in my tracks.
There's only 5 to 10 movies like that for me, and a lot of times it's the same movie. Like I feel like The Shining is just one of those movies. I feel like Jaws is one of those movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But I'm watching the movie, and you know, I'm getting through it, and I'm just like, that movie slowly builds up, you know, the terror and the suspense, and it is so like I'm like, this movie is when did it come out? 70,
80,
like
think.
late
79 or 80.
Yeah, it's like late 70s, early 80s or something. I'm like, this movie it's just like, this is like going to school, you know, like watching this fucking movie. It's so good. And then I'm like, I'm like, let me see how long this movie is, because it's one of those movies that it could be 4 hours and I wouldn't even know, or you know what I mean? It's kind of like how Jurassic Park is. Jurassic Park's like right at 2 hours, but you watch it and I'm like, this feels like it was an hour. It just blasted through.
Just goes through.
Yeah.
So I look up, see how long it is, and then I look where the halfway point is. In the halfway point, exactly in The Shining, is the scene where Jack goes into room 237 and meets the woman in the bathtub.
Mm-hmm. That's where they should have an intermission.
That's what I was bringing this up for. Can you imagine watching that movie and getting to that point, and there's a fucking stupid intermission and you have to walk out of the theater for 10 minutes? Fuck intermissions. The Shining's perfect.
Wait a minute. You can't just... Oh, I guess I did, but you were going to anyway. Abby, the intermissions, we're back. Well, this reminds me of something we the other day. Abby.
Something what?
Godfather 1 and 2.
Uh-huh.
There's an intermission in 2.
Yeah.
It's built into the movie.
Yeah.
Well, that movie's 3 hours and 20 minutes, but the intermission's at like 2:10. I'm like, what? Did they just... This is not
really cut in half.
It's not really cut in half. Mm-hmm. Abby, I want to ask you about Godfather, though.
Mm-hmm.
1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Those were your first... I will freely admit, I have seen The Godfather before, but it's been so long. And I thought I had seen Godfather 2, and this is pretty bad hosting a movie podcast, not knowing this thing. We're 10 minutes in. I was like, I've never seen this. I've never seen any of this. Jacob, I want you to watch The Godfather. I really want to know your thoughts, because to me, Abigail, it kind of has that same feeling as The Shining or Jaws, where it's a 3-hour movie, but it's the dynamic, the way it's shot, the acting, the performances, the subject matter. It feels like you're just going through it and you're just locked in. Did you get that feeling?
Yeah, I did. I think that what we're talking about here, because Jake's talking about Jurassic Park and The Shining, and Jaws is what you mentioned. Like those are movies that are based on books where the source material is like really, really good, and there's something there. So that's why the time, I think, flies.
That's actually really interesting, because The Godfather is also based on a book.
Right. That's what I was saying. But yeah, journeying into The Godfather for me, like I'd seen little bits and pieces on TV, like the TV version growing up. So I remembered some of the iconic scenes, like as I was watching them, but it did feel like a wholly different and new thing that just fit right in like a puzzle piece to like all of my favorite movies. To be able to see Adrian from Rocky like playing a prominent role in the second film was really exciting. And to be able to watch it, I love going into movies with absolutely no background, without any information, without anything tainted, without any like anyone telling me how to react to it. So going into it, I was like, it was really fresh and really like extremely moving, and I was just able to admire like the filmmaking, how the acting, and how at moments I was completely lost in it. Like, this feels like these aren't actors. It feels like I'm just somehow in the streets of New York City in the Italian Village in like the 1940s or whatever. And it's lived in. The acting is incredible, and I think it deserves everything, that all the accolades that it's gotten. I'm not going to be here being like, hey guys, The Godfather is good. So is part 2.
I'm gonna message. We'll maybe if they ever do a re-release of The Godfather, we can get a quote on the poster. Abigail Gardner says this is great.
This one's pretty great. And I was like this when I saw Rocky and when I saw all the Rocky movies afterwards. And yeah, I just love, like, it's, for me, it feels like, I don't know, like I'm unearthing something from history and dusting it off that, like, just is for me to find, and it's untouched. And that's how I felt with The Godfather. And I'm excited to watch the part 3, although I know it doesn't hold up.
Right.
But some of my favorite, like Rocky 5 is one of my favorite Rockies, and that one's just so bad. Ridiculous.
It's so unbelievably bad. Mm-hmm. You know what? This is a great segue though, into our topic for tonight. I love movies. I really, really do love talking about movies. And 2023 was kind of a weird year for movies. There was some good stuff. Did you guys check out this whole before we get into it? Did when we were gonna map out our top movies that we're most anticipating for this year, did a couple things fly off your head? Like you're like, oh, I already know I'm excited about this, or did you kind of have to do some digging and be like, well, what is? I think it's hard. I don't want to speak for everybody. With Ghostbusters coming out, it kind of like occupies this giant chunk of my brain, and it's hard for me to focus on anything else.
We're also in like a weird time for movies right now. You know, like not a ton of stuff has been coming out, and you know, we know also because of the strike and everything that it's kind, you know, we're in like a drought almost.
Feels that
things are happening, but when I look at the weekends to see what's playing at my movie theater, there's like 3 or 4 movies that are newer, but then like they're playing like 3 or 4 old movies every week at my theater right now to just fill it's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I had 0 movies pop into my head when I started this list.
Okay.
I had to look up a list of what's coming out. And I mean, when I did that, I was like, oh yeah, this is coming. Oh, I forgot about this. I mean, there were plenty of things that I just forgot about, but I didn't have anything on the top of my head to start.
There you go. So here is what we did. We each made a list of our top 3 most anticipated movies of the year. We all, you know, we have the same kind of taste sometimes. I'm picking movies I'm very excited for, but there's a couple that I think realistically are going to be on all of our lists, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I know, Abby, you said you picked 6 movies just in case.
Yeah, I got 5. Like there's 2 honorable mentions, but then the top 3 are a tight top 3 that I'm anticipating.
See, I don't have a tight. I have 6 movies here.
Okay.
But what I did was I did a top 3, but then I have alternates to the top 3 in case they're the same as one of yours.
Okay.
But then I also have one movie that I didn't put on my list, but I'm really nervous about, and it's kind of like a bonus.
Okay.
And then I also have one thing that's not a movie.
That's cool. I have 3 events that I'm anticipating that I put down.
I knew you were. Well, that's why I did some extras, because I figured you would too, and I figured we would want to talk about.
Oh, I'm all for.
Other
I don't
stuff.
even have any movies. Mine are like the Summer Olympics.
Craig didn't do it.
In-N-Out Burger.
We have the Olympics this summer?
Craig's gonna have a movie on his Craig's gonna have a movie on his list that I guarantee you is gonna annoy me and you.
I know it's gonna.
And I'm not even gonna say what it is.
Hey! You are not gonna spoil my list. Stop it! You're gonna give it away. The audience is listening in anticipation. They don't know what's happening. All right.
Well, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so 3 movies each. Oh, we should say this, right? Ghostbusters is not part of this.
We've omitted it because it's obviously we will all put that as number 1. I mean, we have shows dedicated to talking about Ghostbusters.
When I'm listing my favorite books, I don't put the Bible. That's just a given.
Cut that part out.
Dude, you know what? Rip portions of the Bible out, just like Jason Momoa.
Somebody get Jason Momoa over here quick.
No, dude, I'm Jewish. I only do the first.
Well, I respect that.
It's called the what?
I would never do that.
Pentateuch.
The Torah.
Okay. Shit.
Anyways,
do you know? Do you know more than me?
It's the first 5 books of the Bible are not called the Babadook. I don't know what you just said.
Wait, what is the Pentateuch?
The Babadook?
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's a horror movie.
She said Babadook. All right, let's do it.
The first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. The Pentateuch.
Well,
that sounds another word for it.
That sounds wrong.
And you know what? You're right, though. It's also the Torah.
I know. All right, let's do this. Abigail, we're going to let you start off. No specific order, or you can give us a specific order. Top 3 movies.
Let's do 3, 2, 1.
All right, but only one at a time. So, Abby, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So number 3, and I consulted the internet and the Hollywood Reporter list of like movies that are coming out, and I looked and combed through everything and gave it good thought. And number 3 for me, I actually kind of had this fell off my radar that it was coming out this year, but I'm a huge fan of the original, or at least the most recent installment of these movies, George Miller's Furiosa and the Mad Max movies. The Furiosa movie is going to be like just about Furiosa herself, and Anya Taylor-Joy is playing her. And that's enough buy-in for me to get really excited about it. Furiosa was my favorite character from Fury Road, obviously, like kind of the protagonist, which I thought was really subversive and cool that it wasn't actually about I'm gonna forget his name right now. Max. Yeah, all right. It's Mad Max.
Called Mad Max.
I was trying to think of the actor's name because Tom Hardy.
Venom. His real name's Venom.
Oh, Venom 3's coming out this year. No one cares.
Is that on your list?
And that's number 1. I can't wait to see it.
Well, my top 3 is all 3 Venom movies because I'm going to do a triple feature. It's like my own thing. Hey, by the way, good on George Miller. 1945, he was born, still making movies. That's great.
Yeah, I think, excuse me. I think that's awesome. And I think the fact that, that he's got that experience, I think it could be a really cool film. I think Anya Taylor-Joy is like
she's interesting.
She's a great muse. And I think that she could do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So just the premise and all that stuff has me anticipating it.
Cool. Jacob, was that on your list?
It was on my alternate list.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I had it as my alternate for number 2 because
everything
Abby said, it looks great.
Yeah, I can't really add anything to that. Do you have any other additional thought? The weird thing,
Abby nailed it. It looks fun. I mean, it's weird. The Mad Max movies. Have you guys seen all of the older ones?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen the first one. I've seen 2 and
I think I have
2 and Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's weird because those movies are like, they're not the kind on paper. I feel like if I read what Mad Max was about, I'd be like, pass.
Right.
Put this over here. It's not.
Yeah, like
Cars.
the Water Lord.
Not for me.
Yeah, none of this shit.
I think they're awesome, and that last one, whatever that Fury Road was, visually like, I mean, I was like, am I on drugs right now?
It's just a fucking amphetamine in your system watching it.
Yeah, everything about it was great. It's so creative, and nobody else is making movies that are like that wildly inventive or fun or just like. I actually watched the day the trailer for Furiosa came out. I was like, oh my God, I'm watching Mad Max tonight. And like that night I rewatched Fury Road. So yeah, I'm excited for that movie.
It's also interesting for IP, for a big budget kind of franchise movie to be, you wouldn't think when you think 80s like blockbusters, I don't think anybody's like Mad Max is
Road Warrior
is going to keep, also, pushing forward into the
also
2020s.
Thunderdome had to come out in what? Thunderdome, it couldn't have come out any later than 1990.
Right.
If that, it
so,
might even been. So the sequel to Thunderdome 85. Is Fury Road.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
It's nuts.
I mean, it is, but also the sequel to Ghostbusters 2 was 35 years later. I love movies. Sure, okay. Yeah. Jacob, do you want to go for your number 3 next?
Yeah, I'll do my number 3, and it's kind of I almost didn't put this on here just because I'm like, well, of course everybody knows I'm going to put this on here, but Godzilla and Kong is coming out this year, and it looks insane and it looks pretty wild, and those movies have just gotten weirder and weirder, but the pure fact that we're getting like a big budget American Godzilla and we're now in the 5th or 6th movie in the franchise, like Godzilla has always been sort of a failure in the United States. 98 was like such a big disappointment, and it killed, anything happening literally for 20 years. So
killed Godzilla's babies.
Yeah, they killed them all. So I'm excited that we're in a period of, me and JK have talked about this a lot recently. The fact that we're getting the best Toho Godzilla movies that have ever existed in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They're doing official shorts in Toho. There's animes on Netflix. There's an American movie series, and there's a TV show that's happening. It's insane. So I have to put Godzilla on there.
Very cool.
Respect. I did not include that, but I did see it. Stood out to me, and I was like, I think Jacob's going to grab that.
Yeah. I refer to that as the other movie with Empire in the title. I'm glad Frozen Empire's first.
Wait.
Yeah. Hey, also, I don't know if anybody has said this, but the villain in Godzilla versus Kong, whatever, what is it? Empire, whatever.
It's like
I
Godzilla.
didn't know it had Empire. What the
it's
fuck?
Godzilla X Kong New Empire.
The New Empire.
It's not a good title.
Oh.
And the villain is an ice-based villain.
Yep.
Hold on. What?
Oh, that's okay. We said it was the same as Ghostbusters. I was like, oh, the villain in the new Godzilla movie lives in a painting. Weird. Okay. Cool. Well, let me go ahead and start ruining everybody's fun with my top 3 movies.
The New
year.
Empire. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just now landing on the title. Okay.
My number 3 most anticipated movie of the year is actually a 2-parter. Can you believe it? It is Horizon, an American saga, which is the brand new Kevin Costner Western epic that he has been working on since 1998 with $20 million of his own money put into the production. He is putting it all on the line to make the Western epic that he's wanted to make his entire career. It could be incredible. Hey, also, there's been some script issues. It could be epic. This could be Waterworld. Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yes.
Wow.
That other Ridley Scott, like 1942.
Oh, yeah. No, 1842.
Whatever the fucking, I'm
sorry, Jacob.
Sorry, Jacob.
I've never heard of this.
Okay.
But I'll tell you the first thing that pops in my head. The fact that he's having to use his own money to make it and the studio's not fake, that means it's going to be bad. That means it's bad.
Yeah.
So listen, chapter 1 comes out June 28th. Chapter 2 comes out in August.
No, hold on. Abby, this is Craig literally being what he was just talking about with those pretentious fucking pics for Letterboxd.
Listen, I watch Yellowstone, which is literally trash TV. We'll see. I'm actually excited. All joking aside, I really like Kevin Costner, and like,
most of
his movies that he's made that I've watched are like great. I just love the idea that Kevin Costner, my favorite is Tin Cup, which is the best golf.
Is that a golf movie?
It's a golf movie.
You might like that movie. It's pretty well written.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, Robin Hood, Field of Dreams. These are great
good movies, though.
These are great movies. Let's see what else we got.
These are great movies. Pull up the Kevin Costner Wikipedia.
Man of Steel.
Hold on, I looked at Ridley Scott, Kevin Costner.
Not Man of Steel.
Superman's dad. Yeah.
No, but anyway, so I'm excited about that. Draft Day, which was actually Ivan Reitman's last picture that he filmed. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's pretty good. Okay, so that is my first pick, and
I'm intrigued by that pick.
Right, and like it's the kind of thing. Like, just real quick, movie history. When Dances with Wolves came out in like 1990, it was the same kind of thing where people were like, "What is Kevin Costner thinking? This is like a 3.5-hour Western." But then it goes on to be, this epic movie and wins all these awards and everything else. But then Waterworld exists. So I don't think Horizon's getting an action figure line, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Abigail, number 2.
Sure. Let me check. Let me bring the list up, and
she's getting the list.
I was so busy looking at Kevin Costner's. Yeah, whatever. I don't even want to talk.
What were you looking at?
I was just looking at the movies and the things that he's done. And my number 2 most anticipated movie of 2024 is a movie that's a threequel. It's the third of these films of a franchise that I really love, and when I watched the first movie, didn't know I was going to like. So it was very surprising that I liked a Ryan Reynolds movie. Deadpool 3 is my most anticipated, the second most anticipated. Those movies make me really happy. There's like a really balanced level of like satire, cynicism, and then like just like a sweetness, like somewhere deep down inside that like I really relate to and really like about Deadpool. He's like the funniest of all the superheroes, and he's not like 100%, or at least hasn't been 100% like in that Marvel like Avengers family. So I'm excited to see what happens in this story. I love the character, and I think that it's going to be a good film. I'm excited about it. So I've got that at number 2.
Cool. We should talk about that. Was kind of like on my list as well as kind of an alternate. Jake, did you have that on your list at all?
No.
Okay. We should talk about it though. This is kind of this movie's a big deal for a lot of reasons. Obviously, Deadpool, first R-rated MCU movie, the only MCU movie happening this year. Jacob, the MCU's in a weird spot. What I mean, a lot of stuff's leaked. We know there's going to be multiverse stuff and X-Men and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not to get into spoilers and stuff, but what's your anticipation?
Well, I have zero doubt that it's going to be great and be fun and be very funny. And I think Deadpool 2 is the best X-Men movie we've ever gotten, the best live action X-Men movie. But also because Marvel is in such a weird place, it's like lowered on the pegs for me. And I've kind of gotten to a point where I'm like, whatever. Also, Marvel is doing this really weird thing that almost feels abusive, honestly, where they have been teasing and talking about the X-Men for so long, like literally years at this point. They've been like, X-Men are coming, but they're for some reason hanging on to this sad, dead Fox universe of X-Men. And you guys know how I reacted when I saw Logan. Okay, go listen to the episode. Whatever. Logan made me cry.
Go see his tears.
Like I think he's great as Wolverine.
Right.
But I've had enough of it.
Okay.
And we have gotten to a point where I'm just ready to see the MCU's X-Men.
Right.
Not the Fox X-Men.
Yeah, bro.
So that's also like kicked it down a few pegs for me as well. But I am super excited to see it. I just didn't want to put it on the list because there's some other movies here that I really want to see.
I'll tell you what, Deadpool being the only MCU movie this year puts more pressure on it, but I think it's better. Let's get back to making these movies big fun events that everybody's excited about.
Yeah.
We don't need 3 series and 3 movies at the same time. Let's just make good ones.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the MCU's already peaked. It's never going to get better than where it was in that run up to Infinity War and Endgame. And there's been some good stuff since, but I think it's going to be great though. I have no doubt. Like I think it's going to be great.
Me too.
How that affects the future of the MCU, who knows? But
maybe
I think
another Celine Dion song, which would be fantastic.
Yeah, maybe. I think with something like Deadpool, they've basically figured out that Deadpool can do whatever it wants, be as weird as it wants, can cross over into any other, and it just not matter. Like it doesn't really have to actually have any impact on the other movies. It can just be whatever.
It blends with everything.
Wants. Yeah.
And here's another thing. A lot of stuff has been leaking, and Ryan Reynolds put out this post saying like, hey, like, don't leak all of our movie, please. And then I saw there was this big backlash to like Deadpool wouldn't even exist without leak. It's like,
sounds like Ghostbusters fans.
I know, it's like
posting all the leaks and thinking
the community's not happy.
It's just like, yeah, sure, but like that's like what about is who cares? It doesn't matter. Okay, Deadpool 3. Okay, cool. Abigail, good pick. Jacob, you're next. Number 2.
Cool. Number 2, I put. I'm very excited for this movie and almost put this as my number 1, but I had to change it. Nosferatu.
Ooh.
Oh, all right.
Is coming out, and it's that Robert Edgers, the guy who did The Lighthouse, and what else did he do? He's done some stuff, but yeah, Nosferatu. And I read this big article yesterday about how they have developed a new filter for the film for filming, and that's the kind of stuff that interests me. Like, when we saw Nope, you could tell, or at least we could tell, that like something was different about the way it looked, and it came out that they developed like new technology to be able to film and have a better look at night.
Right.
They did something similar here with this movie. I was reading an article about how they developed some sort of filter. He wanted like a black and white look, but with some color. So they developed a lens that like lets blue color in, but it's still partially. I don't know. It sounds sort of confusing. I guess it's the kind of thing we just have to see. But
right.
That's the kind of thing that's exciting about, Michael Bay ain't worried about what his like camera lenses look like. He just, you know what I mean? And so I don't fucking like it's
cuts
exciting.
To Michael Bay and he's like, damn right.
It's just, his take on Nosferatu, he directed The Witch and The Lighthouse, and it just seems like it's going to be cool. I'm excited to see it. We haven't really seen any photos from it. There's been one or two, but nothing exciting. So
cool.
This was almost number one on my list, but I bumped it down.
Okay.
Heard. Cool.
Sick. So I'm thinking about the way the lists are going right now, and I don't think we're going to have much crossover.
Yeah, I think
because I know all of your. I guarantee I know everybody's number one. I can tell you right now.
Neat.
I know mine. I definitely know Abby's. I know Jacob's. So, which means that and my number one will definitely not be in anybody's list. So my number two, as I do my deductions and my math here, is a movie I am worried about, but I'm going to be there day one because the fact that it exists is enough for me, and that is going to be Twisters. What?
Nothing. That was an honorable mention for me. That's
well,
all. I also thought you were going to say Beetlejuice too, and I'm sorry. I don't want to be spoiling anybody's anything. So continue.
Anyways, Twisters is the upcoming second movie in the Twister franchise, starring Glenn Powell, and he. This is the bummer to me. He came out in this interview recently. They're saying they're I'm so worried. They're doing the answer the call thing, where they're being really weird about what it is. They're like, well, it's not a sequel, but it's not a reboot or a remake.
That means they have no idea what it is.
It's just its own thing, which to me means it's a movie about tornadoes that has no reference to the first movie. So whether or not it doesn't have Helen Hunt, obviously, unfortunately, Bill Paxton, Philip Seymour Hoffman are no longer with us. But again, I think tornadoes are cool. Twister, the original, is one of my top 10 movies of all time, probably. And the fact that they're making it and it's going to be a big budget summer action blockbuster, I'm there. Twisters, number 2 for me.
All right.
Was that on anybody's list?
It was on my honorable mention. It was number 4.
Yeah, it's my number one. It's my number one.
Oh, you motherfucker! You
really?
Stole Jacobs?
Yeah.
You stole Jacobs, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Twisters is my number one. No, it's okay.
I would have 100%.
That's okay.
Not to go off track too much, but I would have 1,100% said Beetlejuice 2 was your number one.
Beetlejuice is not on my list.
Holy shit!
You don't know Jacob Walsh.
Beetlejuice.
I know Jacob Walsh.
I knew Beetlejuice wasn't going to be on Jacob's
But listen.
list.
Okay,
hold on. Let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Okay, here we go.
Twister. I'm going to go ahead and do my number one. Twisters is my number one. But here's the thing. I literally have a list of like 6 movies here because I had some alternates.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the other 5 movies are all going to be better than Twisters.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Twisters so much.
Right.
And I love the idea of what a sequel could be.
Right.
So I'm hoping for that. In reality, the side of me that is down to earth thinks that it's probably going to come out and be bad.
Okay. Now
but I hope it is. I hope it's great. I hope it's good.
I'm gonna gift you back your number one.
Okay. Well, thank you. Now I want to acknowledge Beetlejuice really quick, and then Abby will let you do yours. But I have Beetlejuice as an alternate, because the reason I didn't put it on the list is because I'm so nervous about it.
Okay.
I think the first Beetlejuice is a perfect movie. I think it is so good. And I think I'm not nervous about Michael Keaton. I think he can be Beetlejuice again. I'm just nervous because Tim Burton hasn't made a good movie in a very long time. I'm nervous that he doesn't have it in him to be
do
the
what it
same as he was. And it's also like I'm worried about what the cast looks like other than Michael Keaton. I don't know. I'm just nervous about it. So I didn't want to put it on my list because it's kind of one of the movies that I wish I could pull it out of my brain and just completely forget that it exists until the day it comes out. I don't want to think about it.
Winona Ryder's back. Catherine O'Hara's back. Jenna Ortega's the new star. There's some rumors and leaks going around. We're not going to get into that, but the rumor is that the first trailer will be out pretty soon. So, Jacob, I'm right there with you, man. I'm excited about it. I think that from a getting excited about a franchise I love or a movie I love, I think Beetlejuice can be right up there with something like Ghostbusters or whatever. But it's kind of, here's why it's hard. And Abby, I want you to comment on this if you can. With Ghostbusters, it's like, what's it going to be like, when we're getting Afterlife? What will it be like with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson? It's like, well, they'll just be 70-year-old versions of what they'll just be the older versions of what we like. They'll be a little different. They'll sound and look a little different. But with Beetlejuice, it's like, you don't want 75-year-old Michael Keaton.
But behind all that makeup and hair and stuff, I feel like there's a chance he could still just fall into it.
Yeah. Real quick, a couple of the things that make me nervous for it, other than Tim Burton is directing it. Beetlejuice is in the original Beetlejuice for like 6 minutes. It's like Jaws. He's barely in the movie. I'm nervous that this movie is going to be 2 hours of Beetlejuice. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And then my other worry is that it looks like the Maitlands are not in this movie. And that makes no sense to me, since like the first Beetlejuice is about the Maitlands and it's their house they live in. And they've already established that they have to live in that house for like 1,000 years or some shit. So it's like, why would they not be there? They're going to have to make up some dumb reason that they're just not there. And that's annoying.
I don't know. I don't want to know the lore of the sandworm or like how way back in time Beetlejuice hatched from an egg or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
It's going to be
some weird shit they're just going to put in there. Beetlejuice has a wife now.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
He's not Santa Claus. Jesus.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. All
right. We'll watch it for him. We saw him do it in the Flash.
I hope it's good.
Yeah.
I hope it's good.
I hope it is too. I really do. But
well, Jacob, when we get to number ones, feel free to give one of your alternates.
Sure, I'll do that. Like,
I like how I'm guiding everyone. Like, these are real rules, and we got to.
Hey, thank you, Craig. Thank you for letting me do an alternate.
Should I do Beetlejuice voice the rest of the time? Abigail.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, y'all are over there thinking about your.
Is this your number one, Abby?
It's my number one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll back down. I don't know why I'm being so feisty.
No, do it. You don't have to back down.
I was going to say, well, y'all are worrying about like sequels and requels or whatever to older source material. I'm anticipating a threequel to new source material to Ty West's MaXXXine, Pearl, and X. The third movie is MaXXXine with 3 X's in it. Takes place in the 80s. There's like a teaser trailer that's out. Not too much information beyond that.
No release date yet.
No, but
they filmed it last year.
Yeah, the internet states as of 7 days ago that the movie will come out in 2024, and I know that A24 and like just that maybe it'll be some sort of like an interesting release or something that's supposed to be a surprise
after the Super Bowl, like Cloverfield.
That'd be cool.
I mean, yeah, if that happened, it would be amazing. But I I love these movies. I love Mia Goth. I love the way that she plays Pearl and the way that she plays Maxine Minx in X. I think the X was like a really groundbreaking special movie that was incredibly violent in like a joyful and fun way, and it like plays with the idea of growing older and love, and it's just a gorgeous movie that's also hot and sexy and violent and over the top, and I love it. So I'm excited to see what happens in the 80s with Maxine. And that's my most anticipated movie.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I read I within the last day or two that they came out and said that Maxine is he sort of wanted to play homage to the old Italian horror movies with Maxine.
Oh, fuck me.
And that it's supposed to be super gory, they said super hyper.
Yes, because Pearl was a
gory,
little bit more tame and had like just more actual acting, less like gratuitous sex, which is like, it's fun when you get it. So
the inspiration, according to the article, which I also read, it was Dario Argento, my top filmmaker.
Dario Argento.
Christ, you're gonna make me look up Dario.
Dario Argento's. I'll give you. Hey, we'll talk after the show.
Wait, I'm just
trying to see if I've seen
what's
anything.
the movie everybody loves?
Suspiria.
Suspiria. Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. Yeah, of course I've seen. I'm familiar.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Maxine. I didn't like Pearl as much as I liked X.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's a fault of Pearl or just the fact that it had to follow X, because X was really good. And it was like, it was one of the best horror movies that year. So it's a hard follow. You know what I mean?
The sequence at the very end of Pearl with the chopping up and the feeding to the alligator that Pearl does is like, I feel like that makes up for the lack of it.
For sure. I watched it.
But I want more.
I rewatched X recently. It's great. It's such a good movie. So
yeah,
if you haven't seen Pearl and you want to get your first look at the new Superman, David Cornsweet, he's in it. James Gunn's Superman Legacy.
Oh yeah, he plays the movie theater owner.
Yeah, he looks suspiciously like Henry Cavill. Weird.
He's very good looking. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
All right, Craig.
Well, listen.
Let's get this number one over with.
Here's the thing. Do you have anything else? Because I kind of feel bad I spoiled your number one. Well, do you have anything else that you want to bring up?
Yeah. Well, let me. There's two movies I want to talk about really quick. I almost had my alternate for number 3 was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Just good because those movies are all. I've always loved the Planet of the Apes movies. The old ones I really, really liked, and there's like 5 or 6 of the originals, and they get weird and. I've always loved them, so I like that we're kind of doing that again. And I was really, I didn't know they were making one until the day that trailer came out.
And it
looks great to me. So,
yeah.
But you know what else I'll say is Alien Romulus.
Oh, right. The new Alien movie.
Okay.
Nervous about that as well, because there hasn't been a good Alien movie in
Covenant was
a long times. But the fact that it takes place between 1 and 2 is interesting, and I'm just into it. So I'll always be. I don't care how bad the Alien movies get. I'll still always be excited for a new one.
Right.
Now, here's the deal, guys. I've got one movie that again.
Can me and Abby take a break?
Yeah.
While you talk about this?
Whoa. Hey, listen, you guys. Here's the deal. I have a 2-way tie for number 1.
Okay. All right. Well, that's exciting because I don't know what your other one is. I know what one of them is.
And Abby, I'm surprised. I thought maybe this would sneak into your top 3. But I don't think it's on a lot of the lists because it is a Netflix movie. But that is going to be.
Oh, I know what you're about to say.
Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Shit.
Well.
Yeah, dude. You know what?
You're yelling at me.
Beverly Hills Cop is such a good movie, and so's the second one, and so's the third one, even though it's bad. I really can't wait for this movie, and I've seen the trailer for this movie, so I just have to say that this is my spiritual.
And Jacob, we talked about the first Beverly Hills Cop recently. You watched it.
I just saw the first one for the first time. Good movie.
So
yeah,
Beverly Hills Cop, the original, one of my all-time favorites. 2 is probably my least favorite. 3 is one of those ones that's like it's very bad, but you just like it because you saw it when you were 10.
It takes place at a theme park.
It does. Super excited. I am rude. I want good Eddie Murphy movies. I like Eddie Murphy a lot. He's still very funny and he still has it. Mm-hmm. This movie the original cast is back. Judge Reinhold is back. My boy Joseph Gordon-Levitt from The Dark Knight Rises is in it. Here we go. Let's do this. I'm excited. It's going to come out in July. Everybody in the world will see it because it's on Netflix. I hope it's fun. My only issue is a lot of these Netflix movies don't go through the critical editing eye that a major motion theater release goes through, and these movies tend to be bloated and too long, and I just want them to give me a tight hour 40, get me out of there so I can get my popcorn refill. Well, I won't be at the theater, so I can go to sleep. So we'll say that. I'm excited for Eddie Murphy coming back. I love comeback stories. Jake looks mad because he knows where number one's going, but I'm just gonna fucking get it.
Do it. Just get it over with.
Guys, I am sick of the slander. I'm sick of the revisionist history.
What are we talking about?
My number one most anticipated movie of the year. And Jake, I am disappointed in you because it is a musical, and I know you love musicals.
Oh, you motherfucker! This is the one. Remember, I thought I saw. I thought I saw the new trailer for this like 8 months ago, and it was wrong.
Abby got Jurassic World. Yeah. She's like, "Oh, new trailer's out." I was like, "No,
that's cool. Looks good."
Let me say it. Bow down to The Godfather, Todd Phillips, a protege of Ivan Reitman's, who's given us The Hangover, Road Trip, Old School, Hangover 2, Hangover 3.
Ouch. Hangover and Old School are funny. I don't care.
My number one anticipated movie that is not named Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, or Beetlejuice 2, which I just left off because I thought everyone was going to pick it, is Joker Folie à Deux, the sequel, the musical sequel with Lady Gaga. Well, you got to admit, we got to be more excited about Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn than Margot Robbie, right?
Dude, I don't care.
Dude, I'm done with it. If it's not Harley Quinn animated,
I know you guys think I'm doing like a fun joke here.
No, we know you're serious, and that's why it's annoying.
I don't care. Like, sometimes you like something that other shitty people like, and you just have to be like, I guess we're all going to the party with these shitty people. Like,
no, I get it.
You're gonna get Jokerized. Just watch out. You come out of that theater.
It looks like the Ghostbuster logo on your shirt already got Jokerized.
Yeah, bro. It's just gonna happen slowly.
Listen, here's the deal.
I don't want you getting makeup on my face.
I really like the first Joker. I like the Joker. I know it's like, I'm not saying I'm going to get a Dodge Challenger and put Joker graphics on it. I mean, I might.
Sounds like you might.
But what I'm saying is I really liked the first one. Joaquin Phoenix is one of my legit favorite actors, and I'm interested. I really liked the first one, and I'm interested to see what this whole musical thing is. It could be a train wreck. Like, again, who knows? It sounds ambitious. But I'm excited. I'm going to be there day one. And I'm sick of the revisionist history that, quote unquote, nobody liked Joker. He won Best Actor.
The Joker?
The Joker won the Oscar. Can you believe it? And the award goes to
Joker. It's not ending well for people if the Joker's there.
I hope there's a scene where the Joker wins an award. So yeah, Joker 2.
Watch the animated series.
Joker 2, Folie à Deux. Mm-hmm. Anybody have any thoughts?
Nope.
Dropping a deuce.
That's not what it's called.
I'm like, should we timestamp that?
No, we're keeping that.
It's
out there. You have to say that
It's out there.
And also more revisionist history. Abby, we saw the Joker and you liked it. So I don't know what this
yeah, but it fell under the category of this was a well-made movie that I will never watch again. Ever.
I feel bad.
It was a depressive episode of a movie, and sure, it was well done, but it's not a place where I want to dwell.
Well, if you just don't care about movies that depict mental health in a realistic way in America.
Oh, a realistic way? A realistic way? He becomes
Joker's like
Joker.
None of that's realistic. That's some fucking made up fantasy bullshit. Like, it's not.
I'm excited because I like
a real tale of like mental health at all.
I like art, so
I may not know art.
That's why I like art. So no, I'm excited about it. I wish the Batman 2 was coming out this year because I'm excited about that. But that's
me too.
That's a couple years away.
Yeah, that'll be nice to look forward to.
Well, listen, we covered a lot of ground. Was there any other alternatives?
Yeah, I had one honorable mention I was going to say.
Okay.
Since we're talking about
by the way,
Todd Phillips and Jason Reitman.
Whether you're watching or listening, leave a comment, leave a review. If you're watching on YouTube, in the comments, defend my honor about Joker.
Well, in the comments, tell us what are your top three?
Yeah,
like, what are your three most and your honorable mentions? Yeah,
I'm curious if there's always movies that you don't know or haven't heard of.
Right.
That there's always like the year will happen and a movie will come out and you will have not heard of it until that week, and it will be your favorite thing you've ever seen.
That is true.
Yeah,
so I'm excited. If anybody knows of any of those, leave it in the comments.
Let us know.
This one, the next. My honorable mention is actually like that. There's a movie coming out in February called Lisa Frankenstein, and it's Diablo Cody wrote it, who did Jennifer's Body and Juno, and it's a retelling of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein set in 1989 in like a high school setting. It's supposed to be really campy. And
have you seen the trailer for it?
I haven't watched it yet.
You should watch the trailer.
Is it? Am I going to bum me out?
I think you would not put it on your list if you'd seen the trailer.
Okay, I read a description and I was like, that all sounds, and I like the title.
It does sound interesting.
Who directed it? What's it called? Lisa Frankenstein?
Lisa Frankenstein. I'm about to tell you.
Who is directing this movie? Zelda Williams. Oh, Robin Williams' daughter? Interesting.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool.
Ooh, I got to talk to her. I have a legacy sequel idea for Jack.
Jack?
Yeah, Jack 2.
I used to love Jack.
Me too.
Jennifer Lopez hijacked everything.
Jennifer Lopez and Robin Williams.
God, I forgot Jennifer Lopez was in that. I was always so sad at the end when he's old and he's doing the...
Oh, he gets old? Yeah, he does. It's a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he dies.
I wish he was like Benjamin Button. I wish Jack got really young by the end. Hey, can I talk about something real quick before we get more honorable mentions?
Yeah.
How we were like 10 or 12 when Jack came out.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a real thing. Like I thought it was like, man, I could have
like
I thought I could be like an old guy in my class next year.
I felt really bad. I mean, it's the same thing. Like whenever I saw Forrest Gump for the first time, I was like, oh, I felt bad for Tom. I thought Tom Hanks was like that, you know? Like I thought that was not it's like you don't know how movies work and I'm just like, oh, poor guy.
Tom Hanks, war hero. Crazy.
This is Tom Hanks. He did a lot.
Shit. Okay. Well, Abigail, what else?
That's it for my Twisters was on my list too.
Okay.
But obviously Jack is now on my list because I've never seen it.
I will watch. I will watch Jack tonight.
I wonder what that's.
Williams. Yeah.
I have not seen that in so long. I wonder what it's like. You know,
it's like Flubber with less Flubber, just more Jack.
Okay, I just don't. I'm not really familiar. Is that the one where he's like a kid, or is this the one where he's a doctor?
No. That's Patch Adams. He's a kid. He's like he's a kid, but he grows. It's the opposite of Benjamin Button.
Yeah,
he's a kid, but he gets old like really quick.
38.
So he's
really
like
fast?
in high school, and he's like a 30-year-old.
You know what? Here's what I want
to.
Okay.
Here's what I want to come back for 2024, 2025.
Bill Cosby's in that movie.
That is not what I was gonna say.
Yeah, but it just popped in I forgot about it. Popped in my head.
Bill Cosby's in that movie with a bunch of kids. This is what I want to come back in 2024. Bill Cosby, like it's time. Earlier I was like, I will have a comeback story. No, listen, no, we don't want that. That would be bad. Remember back when it was like there'd be an actor like a Jim Carrey or a Robin Williams or even like Mike Myers or Jack Black, and it was just like every year they had a new movie and you had to see it because it's like the new Robin Williams movie.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. Like we need a new comedic actor.
No, it's Chris Pratt now. Or The Rock.
Yeah, the king of comedy.
They're not.
But The Rock's not.
None of these people are that funny.
Yeah, I know.
Like we need like.
You're talking about a character actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
It used to be people that would like come from SNL like, nowadays people either stay on SNL for 25 years or they leave and you just never hear of them again, or they do the most annoying thing is they leave and become award-winning dramatic actors like Bill Hader. Make a comedy, for God's sakes.
We did some comedies, yeah.
And nobody watches Ted Lasso. That sucks. I'm sure everybody watches it, but I don't do that. But I love Jason Sudeikis. Okay, I'm done. You know what the problem is? Everybody has a podcast now. If people just stopped having podcasts, we'd see more comedies.
Mm-hmm. You're true. Yeah.
Jacob, anything else?
Mm-hmm.
I had one honorable mention, but it's not a movie.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a book.
Okay.
Am I allowed to do that?
We are now exiting the film portion of the discussion.
We are now exiting film and entering book.
Before you do that, I'll just name my two. I won't even go into details, but there's two more that I had on my possible list. One's going to be absolute trash. It's the remake of Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's going to be so bad.
Why remake that movie?
Okay.
They shouldn't. And the other one is
never seen Roadhouse.
Shut up. You might like that.
You could like it.
You could like it.
What's the other I liked the other one. What's the other movie that
Dirty Dancing?
Yeah. I like Dirty Dancing.
Dude, if you like that tight Patrick Swayze package, then you're gonna enjoy Roadhouse. He's a cooler. His job is to go to bars and set people straight.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you might like that.
Terry Funk's also in it. My other one is Challengers, which is the new Zendaya love triangle tennis movie.
Yeah.
That has Craig written all over it.
Yeah.
Sports movie.
Three-way.
Looks like there's a three-way. It's going to be great.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's going to be great. But it's a rare three-way that you don't see a lot in.
The Devil's Triad.
it's rare.
He's like, whoa, two guys this time.
Holy shit.
That's rare.
Usually
it's usually like Wild Things where it's like Neve Campbell and whatever.
That's called the Holy Trinity, and then there's the Devil's Triad.
Okay,
bring back three-ways in movies. I'm just saying. I don't care what the combination is.
I don't think they went anywhere.
It could be MFF, double FM, 3 M's, 3 F's.
3 M's.
That's what I said. Triple M, 3 M's.
Triple H could be in there.
Bring them all back is what I'm saying. All right, let's hear about this book. Another great segue. Triple H could be in there. It's time to play the game.
I'd agree.
May 21st.
Yes.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Bringing back a book of short stories, which he hasn't done in a while.
Okay.
Book called You Like It Darker.
Okay.
Which is supposed to be specifically because people keep saying, I like the darker Stephen King stuff.
Right.
Which is something I say.
Sure.
Every time I read a book Stephen King's written in the last 10 years.
Every time you read a Stephen King book, it's like, it's a cop on the beat.
Detective stories, can.
With The Shining. Like, that's every Stephen King book now.
Special set of skills.
A detective has The Shining.
There's a new detective.
Yeah.
We heard he's got The Shining.
He's putting out a book of, I think, 11 stories. Some of the stories are already available, like they were in magazines or something. I haven't read any of them. But there is a sequel to Cujo included.
Nice.
And there's a quick, if you can go read the synopsis and they give you a little rundown of some of the stories. But Stephen King's books of short stories, like Night Shift, is one of my favorite Stephen King books because when he does short stories, he gets really fucking weird. And he also tends to get really gross. And you just get like the most fucked up, strangest things that I would never be able to imagine on my own.
Right.
And he tends to only do that stuff in the shorter. It's like he knows when he's got to write a whole book, he's like, whatever, you gotta sustain this for a whole book. But when he writes the short stuff, he's just like, fuck it, watch this, So I'm super excited that he's putting out another book of shorter stories and that they're going to be on the darker side, because that is the Stephen King that I know. It's the Stephen King that I like, and I miss it. So
you want your Stephen King on drugs.
I'm so excited for this book.
That's awesome.
I'm excited now hearing you talk about it because I'm missing Stephen King. Revival was the last thing that I took in And maybe I'm gonna pick up Nightmares and Dreamscapes or something. And
COVID's over.
You should.
Yeah, I will.
Maybe he'll do a signing.
I hope so. He hasn't done one since the one you two went to, and you guys went without me because
that was so our fault, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, it's not your fault at all. It's the fault of a crazy person, and I didn't go, and it is my biggest regret in my fucking life that I didn't get to go see Stephen King with you guys, and literally that was like, how long ago was that? 6 years ago? He hasn't done any kind of signing or tour.
Did we not even? I meant to bring you a book. I was going to bring you a signed book.
You did. You brought me the book,
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, because you brought me a book because you guys both got one. So you got
one. Oh, so you have the book. Okay.
So I do have the book.
Come on, Stephen King, do a signing.
Yeah,
Make
do another one. Do it in the same library in Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah.
I hope he does.
Place.
I want to see Stephen King. So.
Well, we're gonna have to go to Maine and find him.
Yeah,
I think he lives in Florida now.
Oh,
I think he lives in. I think he moved out of that house. I think he lives in Sarasota now.
Ooh.
All right, there you go.
I guess we're going to Sarasota.
Hey, that was a lot of fun to cover all of our upcoming favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a good year. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. And obviously the whole first part of the year is going to be all about that Frozen Empire lifestyle. I'm talking snow, ice, red parkas, ecto goggles, all the
stuff glowing in our pockets.
Right, on the red parkas. I was like, wait.
I
was like, are you surprising me with new ecto glows for my birthday? She just has loose ecto glow Lewis Tully in her pocket. No accessories and really dirty, and the glow doesn't even work anymore.
Some people like that.
So hey, we did this segment once. It was a lot of fun. Feedback was great. I think we're gonna do it again, and we'll alternate. We're gonna bring back the fuck budget. We're gonna have Craig's news. We're gonna have stress. This is a year about celebrating all the things we love about pop culture, movies, TV, books, video games, and everything else. And right now, it's time for Craig's news. All right, so, last time I did 5. I just want these to be fun, things that we can react to, things that I find interesting.
Sure.
Last time it was all about David Copperfield disappearing the moon and simultaneously like ending world hunger, which is one of my favorite things.
He can do both.
Can you believe it?
Maybe not for long.
Well, we're not going to go there, but we have to go back. Let's do it. So Craig's news. All right. So our first piece of news, we're theme park people here at YHS, always have been. The City Walk Universal Legacy store will soon be closing, as in like in 2 days. So this is the Legacy store that is in City Walk that houses a lot of the throwback merchandise. They've got the proton packs on display, all sorts of really cool stuff. But the reason they are closing it is because the rumor is they're going to have a special preview experience for the brand new Universal Park that opens next year officially in 2025. So, twofold. Are we going to miss the Legacy store? And how excited are we for the brand new Universal Studios theme park that is opening next year? Epic Universe, where they're already testing. I did some research. The Wolfman roller coaster that's going to be in the Dark Universe area. They're still calling it Dark Universe. That might be a whole other episode. Wow. Jacob, I'll start with you. Walk me through your thoughts and feelings here.
I hate this. Listen, I'm really excited for the new park.
Yeah,
I'm super excited. All the rumors, everything that I hear, it's going to be fun. I like that. I don't like the fact that we're closing the Legacy store. This is the store that this is always the very last thing we do on our day at Universal.
Yes.
We finish our day in here
shopping,
looking at all shopping, looking at all the really cool old Ghostbusters and Jurassic Park stuff. And there's Jurassic Park and Jaws ride concept art all over the place. Mm-hmm. We always buy stuff in here. There's always one of those wax machine with the wax figures.
Oh, right.
I love this store. the fact that they're putting a preview of the new park in, just fucking open the park. The park comes out in a year. You're going to close down an entire store just to put a preview for something that's going to just be open in a year anyway. I don't get that. That seems like a waste, because once the new park's open, does the preview stay? Do they still keep a preview for a park that's just open? It's just right up the road, or are they going to put something different in? They're going to
put up a legacy store for like the stuff they took down.
Yeah, the new legacy store just for the past couple years. It's like Shrek 3D, and I don't know, whatever. Okay. Oh, that's a good take. Yeah, Abigail, what do you think?
I mean, I can only echo everything that Jacob just said.
Thank you.
Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, the other is gold. You should not get rid of something. It's like an old thing. It's a song.
Are you the leprechaun?
Did you just make that up?
It might be from church. Anyway.
The cat?
Yeah. No, I thought that was just like something everyone's saying. Maybe it was just me. The point is, I like old stuff and I don't love new stuff. And I don't think that we need like a preview of what we're going to walk into. Why can't we just walk into it and have it overwhelm us? Yeah. It's just like, why take down that stuff? I like looking at that stuff when I get out of the park. It's like a touchstone. I think
it's like a calm down.
Yeah, it's a calm down. And it's a museum in some sense. And there's like, it's just important. And
now, I should say it's only been open since 2021.
But it's history.
Yeah,
it's
but
history.
Still. Yeah. The stuff that's in there. It
literally opened after COVID. We've only been there twice.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. No. We've been there 4 or 5 times. And it doesn't matter that it's only been open since then. It's the fact, it's what's in it. It feels like Abby just said, it feels like a museum. It has like history of the park that they've erased from the rest of the park. You know, like the Jaws stuff, the stuff from like there's King Kong stuff in there. And I know they have some of that spattered here and there, but like it just feels like a nice. Maybe the stuff in there doesn't sell as well, and they're just like, "Fuck it, we'll throw the merchandise somewhere else and just let it be something else." I don't know, but I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Like I'm sure the first time we go and we do the preview, we're going to be like, "Oh, this is really cool." But right now it's annoying.
This is way better than the Legacy store.
Fuck the Legacy store.
Epic Universe, brand new Universal Park. We're going to obviously be there. 2025.
Day 1.
I'm going for preview night. I'm going for coupon day. They're going to have a Super Mario Land. They're going to have a Universal Monsters Land. They're going to have another Harry Potter world. They're going to have a How to Train Your Dragon. That'll be like the place we walk through to get somewhere else. Yeah. It's going to be cool. I'm excited. A new Universal Park. That's exciting. In our own backyard, Orlando.
It's Stephen King's backyard.
But we'll be talking about that a lot. Now, my next news piece is actually very similar because it's also related to Universal Studios, specifically Halloween Horror Nights. Now, we're going to be tracking this all year. We keep up with the rumors. But there's been some code name listings for Orlando. So there's these code names. Now, I thought this was funny for a couple reasons. Let me. First of all, they all have dessert names. The code names right now for the houses in Orlando are cookies, pie, baklava, pudding, and flan. Now,
okay. We're in for some treats.
One of the Twitter replies goes, "Wait, could pudding be Creature of the Black Lagoon?"
What person is like that's gotta be like.
So listen, guys, let me walk you through why this is on here. Okay. So, and the reply from the account, which was at HHN365, which is a fan account, said possibly. So in my head, I'm like, I'm not a creature historian, so I messaged friend of the podcast Hal Clay, and I say, Hal, doing some research for the podcast, what does pudding have to do with Creature from the Black Lagoon? Was it a codename pudding? Is there a pudding reference in the movie? Or do I sound crazy? And he replies, you sound crazy. I have no idea what you're fucking talking about.
This is where my mind went. I imagine they're like, it's a swamp. It's marshy. It's mushy. There's goop. And maybe that's kind of like pudding.
Well, here's another one. Somebody said, could pie be Thanksgiving? And they were like, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just thought this was silly and fun. Is there anything to take from here at all?
No, they're clearly they chose these names because they don't mean anything. But they're all in the same grouping of desserts.
That's that's all the biggest reach ever. It doesn't matter. Hey, I want to, speaking of Horror Nights though, I was tattooing our friend John recently.
Love
John. Mm-hmm. He helps us out. Sometimes we meet up with him at Horror Nights and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about Horror Nights and, kind of having the same conversation that we've all had about how Horror Nights is better when it's IPs. And I'm like, why haven't they ever done this? Or why don't they do this? And John was like, I was like, man, why have they ever done this before? And John was like, oh, they did that. And he knew the year. He was like, the year was this. And he pulled up he was like, hold on, watch this. And he pulled up a trailer. He showed me Halloween Horror Nights announcement trailer.
Okay. From
years back. Okay. And you know how they always kind of have a mascot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Dr. Oddstrom's.
Dr. Oddfellow. Okay.
Yeah. He's made up.
Mark Van Nostrum.
Fake.
They
Dr. Van
Nostrum. Yeah. So one year Horror Nights had Michael Myers, Leatherface, and Freddy Krueger. They had houses for all three of those, and it was like a big deal. And they had people dressed up as them and everything. And I was just like, that sounds amazing,
right?
I'm like, I would love to go to Horror Nights and it be like actual classic horror stuff, IPs all over the place. A Freddy Krueger house like Nightmare on Elm Street, that I would love to do an Elm Street house. We've only been going to Horror Nights for I don't know, like
7 years.
Yeah, something like that. It's been going on. It's been going on for a long time. So we missed a lot of stuff, but
that's awesome. I mean, listen, there's not a whole lot to unpack from these code names. I think we all have things that we'd love to see, things that we can predict. I don't know why I've never thought of this. You know what I want? A Munsters house. An original Munsters house. Sure. I love the Munsters.
Sure.
Yeah, give me classic Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that's what I want.
If we were gonna pull from the black and white days.
Yeah, but anyway, so we'll have fun this year as we get closer, kind of predicting and guessing, based on the different things going on in horror and everything else. What that's going to be. So okay, last thing, guys, because listen, it's the new year. We have to talk about this, and I don't know if we want to, but we have to. We got some Star Wars to talk about, and I know that's tough. It can be overwhelming. It can be. Abby, do you think it's draining sometimes to talk about Star Wars?
Yes, yeah, because there's PTSD, there's real feelings. We've shed tears of joy and disappointment. We all care very much about Star Wars, and we want the best.
Right.
It's tough. It's like family.
So this has to do with the director, and I just want to. There's a lot of people reacting to this, overreacting, underreacting. So this is the director for the new Daisy Ridley led movie. All right, so this was the movie. Sorry guys, I lost the thing again, so I'm just going to do another pause break so I can get the right information here. So, all right. So this comes from Charmine Obaid Chenoy, who is going to be directing the new movie that was announced at Star Wars Celebration, starring Daisy Ridley, the return of Rey, coming back to the Star Wars universe. And the director said, I'm very thrilled about the project. I feel like we're about to create something very special. And then there's the controversial comment that everyone's been reacting to. She says, we're in 2024, and it's about time we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away. I think the reaction is coming from Star Wars fans going, seems a little divisive. There was a whole trilogy that Rey led. Mm-hmm. Ahsoka is a very prominent female-led show.
Is she... Sorry, go ahead.
Do comments like this end up working against the franchise?
Yeah, what about Jyn Erso? What about Rogue One? Like that, it seems like it seems outdated.
It seems unnecessary because it's just going to piss people off.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Can you read that quote one more time for me?
Sure. So this is what she said about the upcoming Rey movie she's directing. We're in 2024 now, and it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away.
Are we sure she's not talking about herself as a woman director directing a film?
Yeah,
that sounds to me like that doesn't seem like she's talking about Rey.
She's talking about behind the camera.
Yeah, it seems like she's talking about her shaping the story, a female director. I know we've had some female directors on the shows, but I believe she's just referring to herself and a feature film.
Okay. Now, hey, I didn't even think of it that way. Interesting. I'm all about it. I want everybody to. I want more female directed Star Wars movies. In fact, I want Bryce Dallas Howard to do one.
I wanted Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. Sanctuary is the best episode of The Mandalorian.
We know Patty Jenkins was supposed to do one, but Rogue Squadron.
Oh,
so this is less about Wonder Woman. Let's have a reaction to this woke nonsense. Fuck that. But
I just feel like she would not say something like that, referring to the characters, especially after Ahsoka, because Ahsoka is about like 4 very strong female characters who carry that whole show. So, I mean, more than 4. There's like 5 or 6 of the main characters of that show are
Yeah, it's like female. Star Wars has given us. Sorry, continue.
No, you're right. It's we've gotten that, I think, as far as, I mean, the whole trilogy is about Rey, and so that's what makes me think she wouldn't say that meaning the character. I think she's meaning female director.
Right. So she's referred to herself.
Fine with that. I think so.
Of course, yeah.
Just give me something that's good. That's what I care about most.
Yeah.
Make it good.
Yeah. I just feel like
I'm also excited about Rey coming back because
me too. Yeah.
I like, I don't want to we don't have time to talk about what we thought of that trilogy, but the fact is there was some good, there was some bad, but the way it wrapped up left something to be desired from those characters. And it's like, oh, well, I do want to see more Rey and more, Finn and more Poe and like see them be able to carry a movie without it feeling rushed or stuff behind the scenes. So, I mean, I'm into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, there's like 2 different conversations to be had. And Abby, I want your perspective on it. I think because the culture in the America and politically and with the way people consume media is so divided right now, I do think that the people making these projects and making these movies and Disney, they should be careful about the way they talk about things, because every word is going to be picked apart and used against them to try to make people angry. It's a really weird time, and it's of no fault of their own.
But sorry, continue.
There was a really funny thing on Fox News, which is like nonsense, but they were talking about how like Star Wars has gone woke and all this stuff, and one of the ladies was like, "Well, I don't like Star Wars because it's woke now. That's why I've always been a Trekkie."
Fucking the most progressive.
It's been woke since the start.
Since the 60s.
Anyways,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's true.
What an idiot that person is.
Abby, any other
I mean, this stuff is dicey. It harkens back to Answer the Call 2016 days, and just like it's a weird like place to step foot in and make your stance on this early in a project to maybe to point out something that is a little bit divisive, especially when there has been female directors and main characters, like you've said, Jake. I think the most important thing is like to be inclusive with your movies. Like that's to make a statement like that can kind of seem it's a little bit off-putting, perhaps. I think that story is the most important thing. I think that the people telling the story doesn't matter who they are. I mean, it does matter in the way that they put their life experience into the movie, and that can really inform the story. But for me, I would say make sure the source material is really good, and from there, add your flourishes.
Right.
But
I just think it's so like. First of all, that movie, there's no guarantee any of these movies they announce are going to happen because Star Wars has gotten into a really bad habit the last 8 years of just announcing projects that just never come to fruition. Sure. So I just think I agree, Abby. I think it's dicey. I think it's like, it's an unfair position for her because like, that's a lot of weight on her shoulders too. Mm-hmm. You're the first female director of a Star Wars movie and she's acknowledging it, but then her words get twisted. I'm guilty of it too because I immediately think, oh, well, you're continuing a movie about Rey who just had 3 movies. What are you referencing? But it'll be interesting. I love Star Wars. I want it to succeed. It's been a rough go of it, ups and downs, but we shall see. Mm-hmm. We shall see.
Yeah. I feel like Star Wars could be more on message and maybe a little bit more like thought out about things or think things through more. Yeah.
What they need to do is get rid of Kathleen Kennedy.
That's not.
That's what. Wait a minute. Is that not going to be the thumbnail for this episode?
That's and you can put that South Park
with the fucking Joker
or it's
Folie Deux.
Cartman as Kathleen Kennedy. Have you watched that yet?
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, that's gonna be the thumbnail. It's just gonna say Star Wars should try this with an arrow pointing at the Joker. People are like, interesting. I'm going to watch this.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear what this is about.
Well, listen, guys, this was a really fun season premiere of Yes Have Some Podcast. I really enjoyed it.
Are we doing seasons now? I always think anytime I listen to a podcast and they're like, hey, welcome to the second season. I'm like, you're a podcast. There's no seasons. It's just another episode. It's all the same. It's not like a show. But I guess that's us now. I guess we're doing seasons now. What season is this?
What season would this be for us?
Hey, it's season 2. Nope, season 2. We've never said we were doing seasons before. If we're going to seasons all of a sudden, we're in season 2. Season 2 premiere.
I feel like the first season was a little long. Got weird a couple times.
It was like Lost.
Yeah. Really long.
Abigail, any final thoughts?
No, except for maybe for like posterity's sake or for those who were listening to this full episode. I did say that I was going to say my most anticipated events of 2024, but we've kind of already covered all of them. Number 3, I had Halloween Horror Nights, which we've just talked about.
Got it.
Number 2, the Jeffries coming up next month.
Jesus.
Every time we say that, we got to do some work, got to do a little meeting, got to make that meeting happen.
We're at this rate, we're not going to have the planning meeting till after the Jeffries.
It's very much like the Muppets. Like we're just struggling to put the show on.
You're right. Yeah. We'll just bring in other people to do it all, so we don't have to do it.
That's what the Muppets do.
I'm outsourcing.
Jake E's got the kaiju portion done. He sent me like all the nominees. I was like, cool, perfect. Do it. Print.
Ask him to do the other ones
trying
too.
To get the meeting plan.
Oh, sorry everybody, we're having a little bit of trouble at the Jeffries this year. Just everything's on fire.
Yeah, that was my plan.
All right, what else?
Number 1, Frozen Empire premiere. I can't wait for that. I don't know details on it yet. None of us do, but I can't wait.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I said it like that. Jacob, final thoughts?
No, I don't have any. Just I bought a Switch and I bought a game today. And
nice.
Did you hear what he got?
Mario Kart?
Nope.
Animal Crossing? Shut the fuck up!
I'm gonna go play Animal Crossing tonight.
Yes. You're gonna. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna chop trees.
Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.